Well, without further ado, I will introduce our speakers. Dr. Eric Melbye, our own Bloomington member and superintendent of Bloomington Schools, and John Bourne, who is our behavioral interventionist at the Oak Grove Middle School. John has been with the Bloomington School District for 3 decades. For 27 years, he taught history and civics as a social studies teacher, helping students understand the world around them. He also coached middle school track and field and middle school football. He currently serves in his role where he supports students in navigating the academic and social challenges of middle school and life. And today he leads the athletic department of the middle school athletic director. He has seen middle school sports literally change lives throughout his 30 years and is here to tell us more about this today. So please welcome our speakers. Come on up.
All right, well, it's great to see everybody here. And as I mentioned, John is the star of the show. You guys hear me almost on a weekly basis with at least 1 or 2 lines, right? So I'm going to keep my remarks short, but I will do just a brief little history lesson. And I have notes so I get the dates right. So in school districts, we do budget cutting. Sometimes we come up with fun names for it, like right-sizing the budget or creating or managing sustainable choices for a sustainable future. Whatever we come up with, it was right-sizing the budget in 2019, and part of the right-sizing the budget was a reduction in middle school athletics. And what that meant was after 2019, there was only one middle school sport available to students in Bloomington at our 3 middle schools, and that was track and field. I would say that prior to 2019, there had been a kind of a slow bleed of some activities and some middle school sports in Bloomington. I'd also like to point out I was not the superintendent in 2019 when that's you guys can laugh at my joke still. That was a different superintendent made that decision. I get it though, because you have to make hard choices when you're in a public school system. So in 2019, that decision was made. Then I could quiz you, but I won't, but everybody kind of remembers what happened after 2019, and that was COVID, right? And so the world changed in a lot of ways, and we had students learning from home, online learning, and then we came back from COVID, and in 2021 I was hired as superintendent. My 4th job in Bloomington. Thank you for bringing me back all the time. It's great to be ending as a superintendent, I hope. And we were seeing students coming back into our buildings with, there's the obvious challenges of how did learning happen during COVID-19 and being at home, but also just the social interaction with friends. How do we, a big part of our job is teaching kids to read, write, and do arithmetic. Another big part is teaching them how to be good citizens, how to problem solve situations, how to get along with people like Dave, who might not agree with them all the time on everything, but still be civil at the end of it. And COVID was hard on kids. And so when I came in as superintendent, I joined Rotary. I met Bob Erickson through Rotary and also through the Educational Foundation of Bloomington. And Bob was very kind and said, what kind of help does the school district need? What are you thinking? Around the same time, Booker Hodges got hired as the police chief in Bloomington. He's still serving as our police chief. And in conversations kind of in a triangle way with Bob and Chief Hodges, he was surprised to learn that there wasn't a lot for after-school activities for our middle school students. And so if you don't have anything to do at 2:40 when school lets out, sometimes you find stuff to do in the community that maybe isn't probably as productive as what we wish kids were doing. So through those conversations and learning that middle school sports had been reduced in 2019, Bob was very generous in some donation, and we were able to then work Bob's magic through the Bloomington New Rotary Foundation, I believe, and we were able to resurrect middle school sports in Bloomington, some middle school sports, which is a feat in itself because I was told many times as a new superintendent, wow, nobody ever brings back anything that gets cut, right? That's just not something that happens. But thanks to the generosity of the of members of this club, we were able to bring it back. And what we brought back was soccer for boys and girls in the fall, which is interesting because if you have kids and they play soccer, there's club soccers, and there's 8 million ways to play soccer, right? And so we kind of thought, well, I hope this works because maybe everybody's already signed up somewhere. You're going to see from John the numbers and the participation and some of the outcomes we're seeing from that soccer program are awesome. And then the other thing we did was winter wrestling. Our gyms are not built at our middle schools to do actual basketball in the wintertime, but wrestling is now a girls' sport and a boys' sport. And so we brought back middle school wrestling to the middle schools, and again, John will show you some numbers and what that growth looked like, and that helps our high school programs as well. So, and then of course we continue with track and field. So, without further ado, with the better part of the program, I'm going to ask John Bourne to step up here and drive the slideshow.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi. I should have put some money in the Happy Bucks hat because I know I'm supposed to say that I'm happy to be here, but I really am because you guys, you need to know what difference you're making in the lives of these kids. And so sometimes it's easy to see, and sometimes it's hard to see the difference that, you're making in their lives or how sports is affecting them. And this quote is one example. Nobody had ever recruited me before. A 45-year-old man said that to one of our Olson Middle School track coaches while he was working out. The coach, his name is Norm Prinz. He's a Bloomington guy. You may know him. And he is 82 years old. He has been coaching track. This will be his 60th year coaching track. And so he's at the club, and this gentleman comes up to him, about 45 years old, and he goes, you don't remember me, but I remember you. And Norm goes, yeah, tell me your name. And he goes, when I was at Olson, I was having a hard time. It was not a good time in my life. I was in a dark place. I didn't have many friends, and you were so doggedly recruiting me for track. And nobody had ever recruited me before. And at that time, something simple like that, he goes, it made a big difference, in my life. I felt a little important. Somebody wanted me to join something. And so he thanked him, and he goes, the funny thing is, he goes, I didn't go up for track. But at Jefferson, I was in a couple sports, turned my life around, and now I'm a teacher at, Minneapolis Public Schools. And so it's a great story. And there's Big Norm recruiting some Oak Grove kids just 2 weeks ago. So after school, I'm out there doing traffic, and I saw him. I go, God, he's recruiting. He never stops recruiting. And so I took a picture quick and, just to show that to you. Yeah, you never know how it's going to impact kids, because you'll see them out on the soccer field, and they have fun, and they win or they lose, but you never really know what's going on inside, if they're changing at all. For most kids, maybe not, but for some kids, they are. And this video here is just awesome. It is Valley View kids, Olson kids, and Oak Grove kids. And all they're doing is just explaining why they think middle school sports is important and how it's impacted them. Let's see if this works.
What I like best about middle school sports is meeting new people and creating a good friend group, and also going to matches and meets and just having a lot of fun.
Making new friends in different grades and hanging out with new people and enjoying just being outside.
I really liked being able to play on the field with my friends.
I've always wanted to play with a team for school.
I would say kind of the community. Everybody's really nice and they're straightforward. They help you when you're struggling with something.
One of the biggest things I've learned about being a part of a team is, I would say, leadership and teamwork.
I made a lot of friends in there, which that was nice, which I still am friends with after track.
I'm proud of how my coach interpreted my strengths. He put us all where our strengths were.
If you try hard yourself, then everybody will try hard.
To win, you have to work together as a team. There's no solo doing.
I feel like everyone kind of supports each other and brings each other up, even if something didn't go as well, and it's nice to have that kind of support.
Even when you think no one's really there, watching you or encouraging you, there's always someone there, a teammate or a coach, and encouraging you throughout your events.
At the end of the day, we all have the same goals, and we're kind of like a family.
I'm most proud of my achievements because this was my first year of wrestling and I got second place.
I set a goal for myself to get probably less than 14 seconds for my 100-meter dash, and I did.
I'm most proud of getting first in the 100-meter dash and being on our leaderboard in our school.
I'm most proud of being a good symbol of my school for middle school sports.
What I'm really most proud of is how better I'm doing in school, having good grades, and just being outside instead of staying at the house and doing nothing.
I think middle school sports has helped me as a person because it just has shown that teamship and leadership is a lot and a big contributor, I think.
It helps you grow as a human because you have to practice working together as a team to work better later and like to get like a good job. You have to work together.
I feel like it helps me grow and like know how to like set goals for myself and know how to like achieve those goals and stay focused on them.
School sports helped me out with doing something after school instead of just going home. And also, it's also helped me out with like mental health and just finding something to do.
It's something to look forward to after school, like being able to express myself. Thank you so much for supporting middle school sports.
Everybody at track loves it, and it's really fun. We all love it.
And you're very, very thankful for it.
Thank you so much for supporting our middle school sports.
The presentation could just end right there. There's nothing else I can really add. But I'd like to thank Steven Rydberg for making that video for us. He is the best. And, you know, I don't want to be too dramatic, but I hope you're proud of what you're providing for these kids. And really, they said it. What are you providing? It's just an opportunity for them to feel proud of themselves, maybe, you know, if they're lucky. Maybe it's, you know, the opportunity to take risks. And then you take a risk, then you grow. And then some kids, you'll see, some kids have moments, you know, with sports that they never forget. You guys might have those. I know I have some, you know, from middle school sports. I remember, I remember that. If your first pin, you're going to remember that. And so thank you for everything that you do for us. We have 3 sports, as Eric mentioned, in Bloomington: soccer, wrestling, and track. For soccer, you can see nobody has more kids out than we do, almost 200. And 37% of those are on free and reduced, and then there's 48 wins and 15 losses. We know that there's more to sports than winning, but 48 wins in this conference, that's something. It's something those guys are proud of. And it is undisputed which team is the best. It is the Valley View teams, the boys A team. Everybody knows about them. They haven't lost 3 years, and they are undefeated. But their main goal as a team is to learn how to win. Well, it started because I got a call from Lakeville's AD, and Valley View was beating them. But they were also kind of swearing. They weren't using appropriate language, and they were maybe teasing them a little bit, you know, the team. And so the AD called me, and I said, you know, I'll talk to the coach. And, you know, and he goes, all right, thank you. And so I told the coach, he goes, Bourne, come on over. He goes, let's talk to him together. So I was there, you know, when the coach talked to him. And this is true. When I see Eric in the hallway, he'll go, hey, how's soccer? And I'll say, oh, it's good. He'll go, how's Valley View? Are they still undefeated? Yeah, Valley View's undefeated. Well, tell them we're proud of them. Well, and I have said that to them before. And Coach brought it up to him. Coach goes, you know, guys, everybody knows about you. And they're proud of you. But, you know, it's different. And he knows these kids. And so he knows, he goes, you play with your older brothers and you play with your uncles and your uncle's friends. And I suppose trash talking is part of that, but not school, not when you have Valley View on. He goes, people are proud of you, but they're not going to be as proud if they learn that you are, you know, acting like this. We've got to start learning how to win like good teams win like champions win. it's new to those kids. They had never heard something like that. It's a good goal. It's a great story. These girls are the Oak Grove girls soccer team. You can see that, maybe you can tell that some of these girls are of different ages, different grades, but the things you don't see, most of these girls are in the general classroom. They just go to the regular classes, but there are 2 girls that are ESL, English Second Language kids. And there are some girls in honors, and then 2 girls in their Dimensions Academy program. Dimensions Academy is our gifted program, and if you're in that program, you go to class with the same kids. Science, because they get taught a different curriculum, so it's science, and they all travel together, go to social studies, they all travel together, go to language arts, like that. And so, without soccer, they might not ever meet each other or see each other, but you put the same jersey on them. And then, if you have a good coach, the coach will teach them. If we fail, you pick people up. If you win, we celebrate together. If we score a goal, you high five. And then, if we're lucky, these girls get to know each other so well that you have pictures like that. They're all silly and they're friends now. And I'm in the hallways all the time, so are you. You can see it sometimes. An 8th grader with a 6th grader, just a little high five or a nod, same jerseys on. It's pretty cool. These boys. The boys are coached by a former Kennedy varsity soccer coach. I just love it because they're coached hard and they like it. It's kind of rare. They don't complain. And these guys are held accountable, and they've got to follow strict little rules. And they're made for something like this, the Iron Club. In our building in Oak Grove, if students never miss a day of practice and they're passing every class, then they can sign the Iron Club plaque. The girls for the soccer team, they're just starting to sign it, and picture there. And then here are the boys. They're proud to be a part of the Iron Club. I spend some of my time in, we call it the restorative room, but in detention. And some of these guys talk to me. They go, "Mr. Bourne, I want to go out for soccer. I want to be on the Iron Club." And I go, "Well, it doesn't work that way. Never miss a day. You got to sacrifice, and you got to be passing every class." And it made me think about what Eric was saying before, just the history of sports. 2019, 2017, and 18. All those kids set that goal to pass every class. For some kids, it's easy. For some kids, that's hard. And to never miss a day. Then you'll see there's no plaque. It made me kind of sad. And then we have a new one coming back there during the COVID year where it's just track. We had a lot of protocols and guidelines we had to abide by, so not as many kids came out. And then now, with the 3 sports, they're back. So, yeah, it's really fun. And there's if you ever go to a swim meet at Oak Grove, there's a whole wall of these. I think we started in 2008 or 9 or something like that. For wrestling, 51 participants last year, 35 this year at Oak Grove and Valley View. If Olson participates, the Olson kids, they need to get a ride to Oak Grove to participate. So 75% of our participants are free and reduced for wrestling. And this is the wrestling team for Oak Grove. A couple of those faces you saw on the video. And one of the faces you saw in the video was talking about leadership. And he is, well, let's start here. He was in wrestling in 6th grade, wrestling in 7th grade, and now he's an 8th grader. And so automatically kids kind of look at you as a leader, they kind of come up to you, and he wasn't sure what leaders do. He thought because he was an 8th grader, he doesn't have to help put the mats down. He can tell other kids to put the mats down. And then when it's time to roll them up, he can tell other kids to, put the mats up. And then I was there, coach. He's he was a U of M wrestler. And he goes, come on over. And it was just the three of us. And he goes, and he told him this story. And it was, God, it was so great. I was so glad I was there because he's telling a story about LeBron James, the basketball player for the Lakers. And they are on a plane and they're flying over to New York, to play the Knicks. And on the flight, LeBron James bought the food. He catered in the food, bought it all. And then LeBron became the flight attendant and he served all of the teammates. And then when he gave each teammate the meal or their meal, he told them how important they were to the team, something that made him unique. He serves others. And the coach said that to him. He goes, that's what leadership is. He goes, leadership is not easy. He goes, you got to serve your teammates. You got to serve others. I bet he's never heard that before. He goes, when we put the mats down, you got to be the first to roll them out. And then you get the other kids to help you. And then when practice is over, you're the first to roll them up. And then everybody else goes into the gym. You make sure the gym is clean. That's what that is. That's what leadership is. And it's not like, maybe it didn't change him forever, but he heard it. And he heard, God, serve others. It's awesome. The other kid that you saw in the video, our principal says, he goes, he is the poster child for middle school sports. He is 6th grade, 7th grade. You could not get him to say a word. And he was a couple friends. And grades, not good. And a couple of these guys got him to go off for wrestling. The first year of wrestling is hard. I've had stud athletes go out for wrestling and they don't win that first year. It's too hard. You don't know the moves, and they're strong kids and they get pinned and they get upset. And then he was going through that. It's just typical first year until this. This happened in Burnsville. I was lucky I was there. I take those pictures and you'll see he's got this kid in a cradle move. And you don't need to know the kid to see how excited he was. He had him and his eyes are just bulging. Just, oh my God. Oh. And he's begging for the ref to come on. And the ref did, he pinned him. And then I'm being dramatic, but if you've been in sports, it's possible that you can go on the field one person and leave a different person. And I think that's what happened to him. And you can see him there giving a high five to coach. And now I'd like to say he's, totally different, but, his grades still have to come up a little bit. But he does now, just so happens he has a hat on, because when you pin somebody, you get a big pin. You can, put them on your hat, and now everybody knows how many pins you have. Well, he's got a couple now. And now he's sitting at a table with all girls. Now he's got a girlfriend. And now they're all there trying to talk to him. I don't know if it's all due to wrestling, but it didn't hurt. That's for sure. I've got to show you this because this is you really help with this. We wouldn't be able to go here without you. This is the end of the year tournament. This is just a 10-second little video just so you can see it. Many of our wrestlers are not in traveling sports. They've never been in a big tournament, like that. And so you can see it when they walk in, wide-eyed, and then everything gets heightened. If you win, it's the best. If you lose, it is the worst. But there's a lot of learning taking place here, too. And if you win, how often have you been at the top of a podium before? That might be a moment for that guy, for that kid. He might always remember that. And we wouldn't be there without you guys, so thank you. I'll wrap it up here with track. Nobody has more people out for track than we do, 272. There's a game face gallery here and a records board I just want to bring to your attention. Before then, this kid went out for track. This was a springboard for wrestling. Now he's out for 2 sports. His grades are up. And here is the game face gallery, we call it. These are just pictures that I take of the kids, for every sport. So these were all soccer pictures, then I take them down and now they're all wrestling pictures. And it's fun because the kids love it. They come back from lunch and then they all gather around, take a look. And every once in a while, you may catch something. And it was during conferences. All the teachers are in their rooms, but then just one family, I saw them, they go up to that board, and the wrestler you can't see, his brother's in that hoodie, and then there's mom. He's pointing and she's taking a picture of that, of a picture of him wrestling. Pretty cool. Okay. And then the records board, some kids gather around, to see if they want to break a record. And one of our girls, you couldn't get her to class. She wasn't doing well. And then from breakfast, she always stopped by this board. And I go, Elise, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm going to break that discus record. I'm going to break that shot record. And I go, really? You're going out for a track? She goes, yeah, I'm going to break those records. And she did. And she didn't even realize she was setting goals for herself, And so, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for us. We couldn't do it without you.
Questions?
It's really more of a comment, especially with what we've just been through with the ice and everything in the Twin Cities. It's even more important we do this now. And I think I'd like to challenge everybody in our club to think about even expanding this program. There are other areas we've talked about maybe we could expand and do something with, but you see the impact of these kids and the grades have gone up, participation, so it's just something that it just makes you feel good, but especially now when we're dealing with trying to reintegrate these kids that have been scared.
Yep.
And get them back in, and there's nothing better than sports and getting them out there and they can release those emotions. And so if we could take and work to increase the amount of money that we go, the program costs about $50,000 a year, but if we could maybe make that $60,000 or $70,000, then we could expand it into other areas. So,
thanks, Bob. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
And that would keep the kids off the streets and busy after school.
It's great for kids to have a structured, organized activity when they're, instead of going home and playing video games or hanging out with people in non-structured activities, yes, for sure. Yep.
Well, the funny thing is, they said it. They said it in that video.
Yeah.
They're the ones saying, yeah, I'm not going home, I'm
Yeah.
with friends, They,
Yeah.
they want it.
Yep. Debbie?
I don't know if everybody saw your arm, that we have branded middle school sports.
Yep.
And the kids have it on their t-shirts too?
Track. Yep. Track uniforms, it'll be on the back, and then, of course, these wrestling sweatshirts. Yeah, we didn't have warm-ups. You guys provide us our warm-ups. That's great.
Paul?
Just a question. You were talking about the reduced lunch support. I thought I was under the impression that the state was providing free lunches.
The state provides free breakfast and lunch for every kid in public schools in Minnesota, but we still collect data and ask families to fill out the free and reduced forms because the benefits for it go beyond free food. It can go to reduced activities fees and things like as an example. So we still track our free and reduced lunch counts.
Okay, thank you.
Eric, I wanted to piggyback on what Bob said, because I think that this Rotary Club doesn't expect this to be a one and done fundraising effort. I think we're hoping that this Rotary Club can continue this throughout the years. So I think we need to say that, and I think we want to own that.
Yes, yeah, Bloomington Noon Rotary with middle school sports, yes. Yep, and John, I mean, he knows this, but maybe it was a setup question, but he goes, we wouldn't have middle school sports, more than track and field at least, without this club's generosity. And I said, absolutely, that's why you get to see those pictures. Unbelievable success in some cases with Valley View Middle School in particular and the soccer program. So yeah, thank you.
And how long have we been doing this?
3 years.
3 years. Look at my notes. Yep.
What's been the reaction from the high school programs, from the coaches, maybe the soccer coaches from both schools, or, probably a softball question?
No, yeah. I'm supposed to say it's a huge difference, but that is true. There's Kennedy's soccer program has never had more kids out. They told me that. They go, we can tell. It's immense. And wrestling, Chuck Vavrosky, Coach Vavrosky, credits he was huge in getting middle school sports, or at least middle school wrestling back, because he knows how important it was. He said numbers are way up there. The wrestling numbers at Kennedy are 5 short of the football program.
Wow. And the soccer program is close to doubling the football.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Oh, one more.
I just want to say thank you, John, for shepherding the program and, you know, this talking points now, the stories that you told and talking with other businesses, potential donors is super impactful, and to see the amount of kids that have, you know, had their lives changed because of this program is amazing, and thank you for all that you did.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Well, thank you for your presentation. And with that, Rotarians, we are adjourned.